Hello, everyone. I am Christy Cohen, CEO of the RIA, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to part one of the RIA Meet the Candidates Forum. The purpose of the forum is to give RIA members the opportunity to learn more about each of our candidates on the 2022 Board of Elections slate. Today's forum will be recorded and made available for on-demand viewing for RIA members who are unable to attend. The RIA election ballot will be sent out electronically via email in mid-March. Encourage RIA members to participate certainly in this very important voting process. So today we are joined by the following candidates. We have Mike Chisholm, CEO of Canstar Restorations. We have Wamer Cruz, Senior Vice President of Corporate Development for BluSky Restoration Contractors. We have Marcie Richardson, Director of Human Resources and Safety of Guarantee Restoration Services. And we have Jay Van Deusen, GM for Rainbow International from Northeastern Maryland. So we're excited to have all of you with us here today. And at this time, I will go ahead and turn things over to RIA President Mark Springer, who will be facilitating today's event. Mark?
Christy, thank you so much. And welcome to all the candidates. Again, just want to thank each of you for your volunteering on behalf of not only the organizations that you represent, but the restoration industry at large to help us leave this industry better than we found it. That's what we always encourage folks here with RIA, folks who spend their time and invest their time in our association. Really to be able to approach this, not from the perspective of just what I want, but what's best for the property restoration industry. And we have some incredibly gifted and well-qualified candidates to present to you today. We're very excited that this year we had a record number of applicants for the RIA Board of Directors. Very challenging process, but a good process to have where there are so many qualified folks who are looking to represent our members here at RIA. We're going to start first in this session with Mike Chisholm from Canstar Restoration. Mike, welcome. Would like you to start just by talking to us about your background, not only in the restoration industry, but just your professional background as well, and what role you currently hold at Canstar. Mike, welcome.
Thanks, Mark. Hi, everybody. Yeah, so Mike Chisholm, I'm the CEO at Canstar Restorations. We're based here in Vancouver, British Columbia in Canada. So Canadian restoration company. We have 11 branches across British Columbia and Alberta. So that's my role here. I've been with Canstar 3.5 years, new to the restoration industry when I took over from Jay Dargatz, who was the founder here. And my background is transportation logistics, which has a ton of similarities to restoration as far as the logistics of things. Everybody wanted everything done yesterday, but quite a lot of new things that I learned in this industry as well. You know, as much as there are similarities, there are a lot of differences too. So I was brought into Canstar to bring more of a business perspective. The industry is changing a lot, and just how we manage our way through those changes to keep up with the industry and try and stay ahead of things as well.
So Mike, as you look forward in just kind of the next season that the property restoration industry moves into, and we kind of think out about 3 to 5 years, what challenges do you consider to be the most important that we will face as an industry?
Yeah, I think, you know, the real big challenges that we have here and right across the industry is just, you know, the insurance side of the business is getting tougher and tougher to deal with. You know, our costs are going up. Our ability to generate revenue within that industry sector is going down. So that's having a big effect on our margins. I think that's one of the biggest challenges is how do we change the relationship between the restoration companies and the insurance companies so that we're all winning in this. You know, it seems like be very lopsided right now. And I know it was different years ago, but you know, we have to get that pendulum back to the middle, I guess is the best way to put it. That's one of the big things. I think the industry as well needs to come together a little bit more. You know, I know here in Canada anyways, it's a very fragmented industry. You know, all the competitors are working against each other, and we all have key issues that we share. And actually we have a really good AGA committee started now here in Canada to deal with some of those. But there's one of the big challenges is trying to unite the restoration industry just so that the competitors are all working more towards the same goals, the same focus, to keep everybody on track. You know, pricing is a big issue. As I mentioned, we've got outside pressures from government, economical, environmental. These are things that are adding cost to our businesses that, you know, to date, we're having a real struggle trying to recoup those costs. So labor is another big challenge, you know, finding good qualified labor and then being able to turn the labor we do bring on into even better qualified, you know, the training and educational piece of things. So it's a big challenge for us. You know, unity among the restorers is one of the real key issues for us here.
Yeah. Mike, so there was really two themes there that you addressed. One is the area of bridges and communication with the property insurance side of this business, so the insurance carriers. And then you also spoke about unifying the industry. In what ways do you think that RIA can facilitate change and can benefit the industry in those two respects?
I think just, you know, awareness of RIA in general in the industry. I know here in Canada, it's like I said, it's very fragmented. You know, there's a real good opportunity to grow the membership here and add to what's already there from the US perspective. You know, I think that RIA can do a real good job in bringing more and more restoration companies into the fold. And that, you know, creates a couple of opportunities. One, it creates additional revenue or funds that we can use to allocate towards advocating for the restoration companies within the insurance sector. And it's not just them, it's the consulting, you know, the consultants that come on that cause us kind of challenges as well. I know there's been a lot of work done already in that area. It'd be great to be able to benefit from that. But I think that and the training and education piece is going to be real key too.
All right, well, Mike, best of luck to you in our election. Thank you for, again, taking the time to tell us a little bit about yourself today, and appreciate your comments.
Thank you.
All right, Marcie, welcome. It's great to have you with us here today. You have a unique perspective that we're looking forward to hearing about. Tell us about your background, not only at Guarantee Restoration, but prior to that as well, and talk about your role that you have at Guarantee Restoration.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me, and to all the members. I mean, this is a stellar group of candidates to be included in, so I definitely appreciate that. I am the director of HR and safety at Guarantee Restoration. I've been here for 4 years. Previously, I do have over 20 years experience in HR, in oil and gas, and in HVAC construction work. So I'm very accustomed to this type of industry, these blue collar type of hard workers that we have. But my passion is to training and to build employees up better than they ever saw possible in themselves. And that is my come from. That is the thing that drives me in HR and drives me in development and drives me in each area that I am, because our employees are our greatest resource, right? You know, you say that I come from a different area, and everybody here has that operations. And for me, it's that HR piece, the employee experience that I want to and know that I can be impactful and to help and to share with the RIA members.
Excellent. So from your perspective, and certainly you can address the larger restoration industry as well, but what do you see as some of the key challenges that this industry faces over the next 3 to 5 years?
The 3 to 5 years, I mean, you know, right now we all know it's labor, and it's not going to get any better, and it's going to continue to show its face in so many different areas. And 3 to 5 years, yeah, you're going to have technology. We're going to have generations switch, right? Baby boomers are growing out. We're going to have those Gen Xers, Gen Zers, the millennials to kind of fill in those gaps. And with all of that, you have technology that improves. You have different work styles that we are not accustomed to. You know, we're showing up, we're doing the 8 to 5 or really 24 hours grind that we do. And so we're having to move to a different work phase or work style, workforce, excuse me. And so my thing is, what I see is I want to fortify, how can we keep the competition away and keep our workforce and keep people wanting to come here and wanting to work in the restoration industry? Because what I've discovered is the heart of the restoration industry is something that's you can't compete with in any other industry that is out there. And so for me, it is, how do we keep the labor and wanting people to work here? And I think that's an easy fix right now. Culture is a big buzzword, right? And we think right now we need to have good culture, but what are we doing, the action steps to ensure that 3 to 5 years, we're going to still have those people coming in the door?
Excellent. And so RIA's role in some of these challenges that you speak of, how can RIA address those specifically, and perhaps even some other areas where you may see challenges in the restoration industry?
So for me, you know, RIA it's interconnected, right? There is several companies that are interconnected and we're working together for a greater cause, right? And so when we're looking, how can each one benefit? We need to come together, and we do trainings, but how are we building that training up? How are we reaching the small companies to the larger companies, the big players in the market, and making sure that every voice is heard on those levels and have those same resources? So no matter where you fall in a membership, that you have that availability to fortify your workforce, to have those resources to train and development, and then think of new initiatives to keep employees. You know, maybe it's a referral only aspect. Maybe it is looking at different avenues and aspects to come in. Maybe it is partnering with community colleges or trade schools to have a restoration certification program or diploma that we're giving out. So we are constantly having that. So when I look at and think about RA, we're interconnected, right? That ecosystem that we have, it is an interconnection mesh. And so how can we all benefit from each other? And how can I help facilitate that from an HR standpoint?
Excellent. Well, Marcie, best of luck to you. Thank you again for taking time with us today, and look forward to hearing more from you in the future.
Appreciate it.
All right, over to Jay Van Deusen, Rainbow International. Jay, welcome. Jay is now running for his second term. He's served on the RIA board already in one term and now running for re-election. Jay, welcome. Tell us about your role in the restoration industry and then your role within.
I appreciate the opportunity, and I think one of the things that's greatest about this is that we have so many people that are really interested in the industry. And I think one of my complaints the last 2 times that we've looked at kind of restocking our board members was that we did kind of a poor job or weren't able to attract some of the better people that are out there. And as a result, maybe got accused of not being as diverse inside of the industry as we should be. So I think, first of all, to have this many candidates is great. My own background, I come out of a design, build, construction background. I'm not going to go through everything that's in the data that we already submitted, but I've got a 30-year deep experience in construction, design, build, remodeling, like commercial. And then we bought into our franchise, Rainbow International, about 12 years ago with the idea we'd be able to offer a full service approach to the industry. Hasn't always worked out that way, but man, I've learned an awful lot on the way. We've transferred our company into more of a content specific company. We no longer do any reconstruction. We focus on contents, which is about 80% of what we do. And the balance of that is made up in water mitigation, mold, and then we just started up an asbestos abatement company about 6 months ago. Been active in the RIA. I took over from Lori Young on the Contents Council probably 3 years ago, and worked hard to kind of get my name on the ladder to get in there. And I think really being a part of that council was one of the more pivotal things that I've done in my professional career. I got to meet, the likes of Mike O'Donnell, Lori Young, and this other guy, Wamer Cruz, who have been very generous in sharing not only their successes, but their failures. And I feel strongly that through my career, I've been able to kind of stand on the shoulders of giants ahead of me. And while, we're volunteers in this organization, I feel like I've just been a huge benefactor of the knowledge of these people in the industry that I have tremendous respect for. And I would not have been able to have gotten that in a class or a certification or anything else. I also work hard on our advisory council for Rainbow. As Mark would probably attest, I'm not the most politically adept kind of person to be in a position where I should probably keep my mouth closed maybe a third more than what I do, but I feel very strongly about things, and I'm not so reluctant to give my opinion even when I'm in the minority. But at the same time, I feel like some of the experiences that I've gained, particularly in RIA, is to listen to the other side and try to make choices and create directions for the group that are positive, even though I may not agree that it's the best thing for the industry and it's the best thing for the organization.
Well said, Jay. Thank you for that. And as you think about the industry and where it's headed over this next season, next 3 to 5 years, what do you see as the most important challenges that we will face?
I think COVID has really kind of given us a ride for our money and is a real indicator of some of the challenges that we have and that we've had, and those challenges remain there. Trying to get a qualified workforce in place. We had virtually a 50% turnover in our employees over the last 12 months. And it's just been painful to go out and recruit and to try to get people that really aren't interested in going back to work, thinking that there's something on the back end for them. And then for us to go back and rethink about what kind of environment is it that we have that is going to make people attracted to that. I think one of the people that made us think about that, to look back about some of the things they do, are companies like Warner's, where they're thinking outside of the box and making people feel kind of a familiar want and warmth that the employer is offering. Because we're asked to do more and more, we have to get employees that are more and more qualified, and we're challenged based on what we can pay them. As we do more for the insurance companies, and we're forced, by the wages that we're able to offer, it really becomes a deep, deep challenge for us. We're doing preliminary on-site for them. We're going ahead and proving the cause of loss. We're saving items for them for litigation. And really, we're not getting paid for that as we're going through there. And we need to get paid for that and have that value that we bring to the table reflected in what we can do for our employees and how we can pay them and how we can incentivize them in order to take on some of these technological levels that you would never think about somebody in a $15 or $18 an hour position would have the skills to do. And to demand from some of these pricing platforms that we be able to put people in place that will do a good job for us and for their insured, and reduce the liability of all three parties together there. It's a delicate balance to try to do that. And I feel like educating contractors about what they should demand to be paid is just so critical. Mark and I have had this conversation where, Exacta make calls on an off day, and I've only had them call us once in the last, 6 years to ask us what our labor rate is. And the first thing that people will do is look at an Xactimate and open up what their numbers are that they're getting paid for in their area. And it just becomes a critical cycle that keeps us in a downward position and keeps us from being able to leverage educated contractors that should be telling an Xactimate, hey, my burden's up to like 45%. This is what I'm paying for a carpenter. This is what I'm paying for a technician going through there. These are just really key things that we need to keep pounding on and to be successful on. And I think a lot of the AGA initiatives that we've taken on are really starting to make a difference in that, and trying to explain to people about what they can do to not only advocate for the industry, but what we can do to advocate for RIA and for their own companies to be more successful.
So Jay, you touched on a couple of things that RIA can be doing to positively improve the restoration industry. Anything else that you would like to speak to or add where you think RIA can be taking this positive role?
I was thinking before this call what some of my favorite moments have been over the last couple of years. And I think one of them was when we had our restoration advocate out there talking about where we are, what we've been able to do, progress that we've made with Exact and some other estimating platforms that are out there, and where we're actually able to engage Bill Loveland about some of these things that we have that are just so key to our success, not only our success, but our survival inside of the industry. And to have that kind of opportunity to do that makes me feel like, geez, I've been active in this organization, or I've been a member for 15 years. This is the first time I feel like we are making headway, because now we're having these corresponding, may not always be the easiest conversations to have, but we've got a seat at the table with the company and the people that are making some of these decisions that impact all of our businesses. And, even more than that, sometimes it's the devil that I think a lot of us now are also having to deal with the introduction of this downward pricing as far as the introduction of CoreLogic into the marketplace, and having to deal with some of the pricing challenges in Exact now are even further exacerbated by this new platform that are further reducing some of these prices that we're not getting for services that we are offering, that we should be, demanding. I would like to keep our restoration advocate fully funded, pushing forward, and continuing to offer our members much more concrete evidence of what we need from them and what we're doing for them and what we can do for this as an industry. I mentioned, through my own participation in the Contents Council, I've gotten my FLS. I was active in the Contents Law Specialty Program that Mark was very active in, and having the opportunity to work with people like Werner and Lori Young. Werner actually opened up his facility to several of us to go through there and see how they do it, what their challenges are, how they work through all those things. The opportunities that each of us have working inside of the industry with people like that, I think are just entirely key to being successful, and having yourself be open to people like fellow franchisees that I work with that want to see a contents facility, or they want to see what we're doing billing wise. They want to look at our P&L. I think the more we can share and the more people we can get to advocate for us in the industry and for the industry is just going to be healthy and fruitful for all of us.
Yeah. Well, Jay, thank you again for all of your service here on the board over the term that you had, and then previously with the Contents Council. Appreciate your passion and all that you've done with the industry. And best of luck to you in the coming election. Warner, welcome, and thank you for taking time to apply for RIA's Board of Directors. I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about your background, with JC Restoration and how you became BluSky and your current position with BluSky.
Well, thank you, Mark and Christy and the RIA for allowing me. I'm honored to be part of this panel. I mean, I think that the membership can't go wrong with all the candidates that are applying for this opportunity. My business started back in '82 with my parents starting the business, and I worked with them until I bought them out in 2002. And just last year, December, I sold to BluSky Restoration, and my title now is Vice President of Corporate Development. So not only am I now trying to help grow the BluSky organization, I've been fortunate and blessed with time. Now I have time to really help the industry in any way I can, as a board member, as a committee member, as whatever is needed. Because I think that uniting this organization was a dream of my dad's a long, long time ago. And now I have the opportunity to actually do that, or at least help with it.
That's awesome. Thank you, Wamer. As you look at the restoration industry, obviously 1982 was very different for the property restoration industry. We face a lot of new challenges now. As we kind of think forward into the next few years, next 3 to 5 years, what do you see as the most important challenges that we'll face as a restoration industry?
To me, there's so many answers, but to me, the number one challenge we have is the flood of information that we have. Never have we had more software opportunities, more equipment, more podcasts and friends of ours that have become specialists in certain things. And I think as a larger organization, it's a must to assign one person that is constantly trying to stay on top of what this industry allows. I also realize that there's a lot of smaller companies that are part of this membership, and it's important that they can go to an organization to get a lot of that information. And I think that RIA does a fantastic job of keeping in tune with what's happening in the industry and having podcasts and videos, because videos is so much easier to watch than to read or perhaps do the research on new stuff. So I think that providing information and staying on top of what's out there, it changes so quickly. And that's one of our biggest challenges that we have now.
So as you look at RIA, and you've been an RIA member for a long time, what do you think RIA can be doing to positively improve the restoration ecosystem beyond some of the education things that you talked about? What would you kind of see as some of the full scope or areas where RIA can be that impact?
You're doing it, Mark. You're doing it with your team. You are creating an organization where all of us restorers, big, small, mom and pop franchises, they're all being called to unite and help the industry grow. When I first joined my parents full time and I wanted to sell the business, and I didn't realize why anyone would want to be in this business, I joined a networking group. And in that networking group, we traveled and we were able to meet other restorers, and we were able to see facilities. We were able to learn when mold came on the scene. This organization brought all the members together and taught them best practices to be able to remediate mold properly and training, education. This networking group I owe so much to, because it brought us together, united to help each other grow. I think that's what the RIA's job is. I think the RIA needs to create one space where people can come. They need to make the most important industry event where all restorers, big and small, arrive. And we as leaders in this industry need to engage with those younger folks and help them grow, so together we can raise the bar.
Absolutely. Well, Wamer, thank you for sharing a little bit of your vision for that, and really credit where credit is due back to Christy Cohen. Christy, thank you for putting this together today. We appreciate everything you are doing to advance RIA for our members and to assist all these wonderful volunteers that take their time to make this industry a better place. All of our candidates, Mike Chisholm, Wamer Cruz, Marcie Richardson, and Jay Van Deusen. Thank you all. Best of luck to each of you as we come down the home stretch of this election process. I hope all of your businesses have just a prosperous 2022. Can't wait to see all of you in Reno here next month. Christy, back to you.
Great. Thank you, Mark. Thank you to all of our candidates. And to our viewers, we hope that you will join us tomorrow for part 2 of our Meet the Candidates Forum. Again, 12 Eastern Standard Time. And thank you all very much for your willingness to serve. We appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.